Hey guys, Dib the Awesome here to give you another Monster Legends maze video, or maze guide, whatever have you. Uh, this is going to go over all the monsters for the Summit of the Battlemages event. I felt like this was the perfect time to talk about this event now, since the extra monster is out. Uh, not the extra monster, the secret path monster, the temporary monster is out, which is Malier. And I don't the mystery. If you guys were wondering what the mystery monster down here was, it's White Pandolph. Uh, but yeah, it's White Pandolph, and we're gonna go over all the monsters today. We're gonna talk about each one. Why are they? What do they do and all that jazz. And I'm gonna say before this video, even before we even go in depth with all of this stuff, what's up happening. I think this is a really really fantastic maze event, if not one of the best ones. It's just in terms. I'm gonna say just in terms of monsters. Let's just say in terms of monsters. Uh, you can get from this event. I'm not going to say it with the amount of time we were given. To be perfectly honest, the amount of time we got was less than the Dragon Maze event, which was either 21 days or like 22. I think. The days were terrible in terms of the amount of time we get. That means the less cool stuff we get. Unless you really, really push it, you really push the envelope to get maximum coinage. You get all your egg timings done every 4 hours. You have to be like a champ. I think you have to be a wake up champ. Do your things every 4 hours, uh, to possibly or just possibly get every single monster in this event, possibly. But not including this last monster here. As far as I'm concerned, it is impossible to get the last monster without having to spend a coin jar. You have to at least, at the very least, buy a coin jar or two. Like a $50 coin jar to get the last monster. You say a completed, bam, done. Odds are they did spend a coin jar. If they did get every single monster from this event, they bought a coin jar. It's like no doubt. There's no way that you can earn enough coins in terms of like I think it was like this event is like 17 or 18 days. Not a lot of time. So you have to be very conservative, or like you have to be very efficient in terms of discount times, and you have to be very efficient in getting coins for this event to get all the monsters. And again, in terms of monsters for this event, all of them are fantastic. Not a single one is horrible. If anything, there are overlooked ones. I will say, obviously, I'm not mentioning Zomdolf. He's not included. Of course, like if we say, oh, but Zomdolf is a horrible monster. Absolutely, I'm not including him in my vast, great description of these, other fantastic monsters in the maze. Zombie Dolph is just Pandolf in disguise. It's his Halloween costume. Honestly, that's what he is. That's just what he is. We're not gonna go in any. In all honesty, I'm gonna skip Zomdolf just how is he's not any different than Pandolf. He just isn't. If you have Pandolf already, he does nothing different. I'd say the best thing he could do was AOE haste. Just remembering what he does. That's all he does is AOE. As far as I'm concerned, that's the biggest team thing he could do, or the biggest thing he could help your team with is possibly landing haste. What is it, 40% chance or 20% chance? That low of a chance, it's just, I think it was like 40%, to be fair. I think it was. I can't remember on top of my tongue, but it was, that's the only thing he does productive. So we're gonna stop from top to bottom. We're gonna start top to bottom, and we'll talk about each one, starting with Malier. Now, I'm gonna highly suggest if you're a new player, you should be getting Malier. He's about 2,960 or 70 without coins. I'm not too sure about it. Just in terms of natural pricing, you should have gotten this monster while he was out. I'm not picking him up for several reasons. One, I'm trying to prioritize on picking up White Pandolph, Ukuduma, and Tool here, Tool Kaju, Tool Kaju here. You see this wonderful bird monster. This guy with the with the conch shell sword. That one. I'm a bit concerned about that one because the pricing on that one is really high. I just want to increase my chances of getting it. It's pretty much those situations where I'm concerned once I get to this point, I'm off by a few. That's kind of my main concern at the moment. And there's another reason too. There's two other reasons. One, I already have the monsters, so I just want to get other monsters. Uh, uh, be sure I get them. I for sure have to get white. I'm gonna say another thing you for sure need to get in this event is White Pandolf too, because he is in the Good Legions book, and as you all know, the Good Legions book has been updated, and even though there are some still really great monsters were added to it, the book is still. I always think that the book is always going to be terrible, just like how it started out. It's just there are good monsters in the entry now. There's Brownies, there's Lamu. I can't remember anything, but those were the ones that screamed out to me immediately. There was a VIP monster I know too, Oser the Brave. But yeah, that's in terms of that. Yeah, I highly recommend getting White Pandolf. So I'm planning on getting White Pandolf. The third reason is Malier's Path gives no keys. He does not help me in my quest to getting any of the monsters, any of the paths. He does, sadly enough, he doesn't even give White Pandolf's path. In all honesty, like even going through Malier's the whole path for Malier, you don't unlock White Pandolf. You don't see him as you're walking through. I'm pretty sure you have to go through Cordium's path to even see White Pandolf. I think that's an actual thing. And another thing too, Cordium actually, I know this for a fact. I do believe Cordium cost around 3,500 plus or 3,600 plus coins just for his route alone, and that's really expensive. That's getting in the way of getting the good stuff. So again, it's just a matter of saving my coins for the other monsters, because I do believe in all honesty, the Battlemage trio, fantastic. It's Cassandri, Ukuduma, and Tulkaju. That takes me so long to say those names. But I think they're fantastic. I don't think a single one of them is terrible. I think a lot of people just kind of underestimate Ukuduma. I think for several reasons, just simply because he doesn't have the most OP support in the game. But it's gonna be. I think he's a fantastic, fantastic support because he can weasel his team out of possession or just magic monsters utilities, and we'll get to that later. He's actually quite fantastic in pissing off any possessor and or any magic monster or just any monster that relies on status effects in general. He just says nope. Get that away from my team. He is a team player. I'll get to him later, but he's gonna be the first one I do a guide on. I just think he's gonna be a really right now at the moment you can't put. I won't say you can't put he's not in any books obviously, so he's not gonna excel. His thing isn't gonna excel at the moment. You won't see it until he's out in books with magic monsters. He's gonna be fantastic later on. But in terms of using him on a defense, it's not a good idea because people are going to just troll the ever-living crap out of you, or something. Maybe it could be helpful. Maybe it couldn't. Depends on your setup. I'm gonna say it vastly depends on your setup. But I still think again, just great player control monster too, and we'll get to that later. Like I said, I was going up and down. Now let's just start talking about Malier now. Now that I'm just kind of up and back. But yeah, you should be getting Malier. I think I just pretty much defended my reason why I wasn't getting them is because I'm planning on getting the other monsters. Another thing, time concerns me too. It's just a concerns thing, It's nothing too important. But Malier is a really great magic attacker. If anything, he is the counter to his kind. He's just you bring him to if there's a magic war, you put him on defense. Simply because he's immune to possession. I would say for the most part. The worst person to be possessed whenever there's an AoE possession, your attacker, your damage dealer. It's not a very good time. Because if your damage dealer is under your enemy's control, they're going to have a field day with you. They will destroy you with your own destroyer. And this guy is immune to being controlled. Despite being a villain, he's loyal. He's immune to possession, so he's not going to change sides anytime soon, unless he gets hacked by Hackster, who is the only one that can bypass immunity to possession because it's advanced possession. Uh, so yeah, that's just the thing. Other reasons to pick him up, he's actually one of the better attackers in the game. Does he do any self setup? No. In all honesty, his benefits lie in the effects that he can provide. He has a 50% lifesteal move that does a very good base damage as far as damage is concerned. I can't remember the base damage on it. It was like 55 or it's 55 through 60, one of the two. But really high base power. The damage on it is really absurd. It's really great, really nice. I'm actually going to pull him up now to actually confirm what the base power of that move is. Fantastic lifesteal move. So he does hold life recovery too, which can be important in many situations. I'm pulling him up now. I think he has a really high base attack. Dude, yep. He has the base power. Okay, this is his base power right now, all right? His base power is 3,554. And if you already have Melier, you can rank this up to 105. Which would be 3,714. As far as I'm concerned, he's one of the higher base power monsters, in terms of attack power. He's just got a really high base attack. I'm gonna say a fantastic Melier killer. Fantastic Tiburon killer. His cooldowns are all low. It's fantastic. His base speed's also nice, boasting a speed of 3,454, and his life is alright too. It's got it's in the middle. It's 27k plus 27,445. Now to get to the lifesteal, the lifesteal move is 60 damage. It's a 60 damage, 50% lifesteal with a single turn cooldown. So it's pretty close to spammable. Of course, it's not spammable. You have to wait every other turn. But with the amount of damage this actually does, including the fact you're running damage runes on it, I'm assuming 1 or 2, or if you rank it up, you have to scale it at some point, the healing scales with that. Whatever the amount of damage you do, you get half of that back, and that can bounce off with like other things too. You can get double damage on him, and that's going to scale with it. Essentially, you're going to be having 100% lifesteal if you were doing normal damage at that point, I think. Just because you're running double the you're doing double the damage, so you're hitting 2 times essentially with 50%. I would think you get at that point you get 100% normal life. This is just my assumption, but it just equals a lot of life. He holds a single target 55 damage base move with 1 turn cooldown. Again, relatively low cooldowns. It holds a 35 damage AoE that has a 1 random negative effect. Now, to be fair, he does hold a 2 random effect single target move. I wouldn't recommend running it because his main priority is doing damage. Truly, you can do a trolley effect. I feel like you should leave that to deniers or other supporters, or just supporters. Unless it scales with his damage for the most part. In all honesty, it just messes with damage dealer's damage. If you're going to build something damage and the scaling isn't too high with it, it's not... You're just kind of relying on the status effect. You're not relying on his damage at that point. But yeah, that's that. Really great monster all around. I say the only thing that's outdated with Melier is in terms of recent attackers' base damage. That's it. But even where he's at, I mean in terms not in base damage. I mean in terms of the base power of the moves. His in all honesty, his attack stat is still a rockin'. There's just been releases of monsters lately that hold 70 damage moves, 80 damage moves. That's that stuff. There's been recent monsters that are able to do spammable damage with really high base power. But you get my point. Still a fantastic monster. Do plan on getting Melier. It wouldn't be a bad time at all. It's kind of just stuck on. I had the wiki up. Just to remind myself of moves. But yeah. Now we're gonna talk about Mudflow here. Just trying not to click on the picture. Surprisingly enough, Mudflow isn't in a book yet, and that's really astonishing. Mudflow is a really awesome rare, and for some reason, some people are really not happy with him being in mazes frequently. This is a fantastic rare. I don't know, so you should rank this guy up. Uh, AoE stunning, AoE freezing, good for when you ever have a rare war. Bless me, I just sneezed there. But he's great for rare wars. A lot of people consider him the best rare simply because he can AoE stun and AoE freeze. Uh, that's a really good stance on it. So yeah, one of the better rares. Do plan on picking him up if you wanted to. I don't know if because I already have him. I think I already have this guy at rank 3. I'm just gonna buy the cells. I'm not gonna finish if I do feel like if I'm like oh, okay, I'm all done with all the stuff that I can get. I'll pick him up, but I already have a rank 3. I'm already getting him rank 3. And I have to use food to rank him up. I mean not rank him up, level him up, but then do break him down. All that jazz. You get the works. But if you don't have him yet, pick him up. Really great monster. When the situation comes up and you have to use him. Zomdolf. All right, Zomdolf. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up his picture. Zomdolf. Don't get him. Don't bother with him. Once you get the keys, move on. I'm pretty sure this is the last key. This last key for Cordium. So after you get to this point right here, don't move him any further. You don't need to. No, just ignore the Rex cells. I'm sure you only get like 5 out of it. He's not worth moving any further after this point. So just don't. I'm gonna say unless you got everything else done, then you can proceed to get like the free stuff. That's it. Zomdolf is like Pandolf. It's not worth using. Cordium. Cordim, I mean. Not Cordium. Cordim. I'm trying to pull him up here. There we go. Yeah, the epic trying to tap. Cordim. Cordim is got a few neat things going on with him. He has remove all negative effects from his allies. You can remove debuffs off his allies. He can inflict a double negative effect on a single target. That's really neat. And the other interesting thing I remember about him is he does have an AoE that applies one random negative effect. Now, this is I'm going to say this monster relies on chance than anything else. It just relies on the idea of getting a good negative effect. I don't remember the cooldowns of it being. I think, and honestly, I think the AoE was actually a 4-turn cooldown. I don't think he's all too impressive. Look into other epics, but you can use him for fun. He's not. I wouldn't say he's a bad epic. He's just one of those monsters you can use for fun. Again, he's based on chance. We'll talk about the last monster. We'll talk about White Pandolf here. Sadly, I can't pull him out because I don't have him shown yet. I haven't found him yet. But anyway, White Pandolf. White Pandolf, as far as I'm concerned, he's a fantastic monster in the good book, good legions category. I'm gonna say he's pretty much mandatory for this maze. He's capable of doing. Quite a few things. He does fall behind that situation where he's slower than most deniers in the game. He doesn't boast the fastest speed. He boasts the speed of 3,432. So yeah, that's not too fast. But I'm gonna say if people already have White Pandolf, they can now rank him up and make him better. They can increase the speed on that to make it more faster. Just gotta go fast. Make him faster so he can compete with stuff that are especially lower than is ranked up level. That's just that logic. He does have a lot of neat toys. I do believe he does have a single target stun. I think that he has a spammable stamina drain that's 50%, so that's really cool. He's immune to possession, so you can put this thing safely on defense. He's got an AoE possession, and he has an AoE to negative effects. Applies 2 random negative effects to everybody on the team. Now that's really fantastic. It's really nice AoE. There are other monsters that, of course, do this. Specifically magic monsters in the magic category, like Scar the Outlast games that I've been thinking about lately. Just like games that I've been watching YouTubers play. Outlast, Outcast. I'm sorry. Mr. Scratch. Uh, and I can't remember the third. There was a third one. I swear there was a third Magic Monsters that pulled that shenanigan. Uh, I just can't currently remember at the moment. But there was one that does it. I think there was a third one. But those are the two huge ones that can apply to random negative effects. I feel personally I feel like besides not having a stun, I would feel like Mr. Scratch is a more like upgraded option. But he doesn't have the stun, of course. So he can't stun Pandolf or White Pandolf, but he can possess his he can possess your if it is a fast fight in terms of speed, he could always possess your other two monsters. Uh, White Pandolf's I will say Pandolf's ultimate fantastic gives if anything it's one of the stronger AoEs in the game. I do believe it gives you mirror for I think it was like 2 turns. Right, I'm gonna pull them up right now. For the specifics on that ultimate. But I'm pretty sure it was one of the best ultimates in the game, uh, simply because of how lethal the effect is. Like it's like 2 turn mirror, so equivalently they can't touch you with their AOE's. Or like if they do use an AOE, they're going to be reflected right back on the enemy. It's not really a good idea to hit somebody with mirror that has a deny move on it. You can freely, I'm going to say just straight off the bat, you can freely hit like an enemy monster with just like a normal damage move. If you do that, the mirror scales with their own damage. So if you use just a regular old base damage move on a monster with mirror, if it's a denier that's got mirror up, it scales with their damage. It doesn't reflect the same damage that it was done to it back at the enemy. That's not how mirror works. It scales with your own damage. Uh, so for some monsters, especially monsters running damage, if your monsters are running, if the monster that gets hit by an AOE, if it's a freezing 40 base damage AoE, if their attacker winds up being the one that reflects that back, that's going to cause a lot of damage. I mean, the damage is going to be vastly different compared to a denier sending that AoE back at the enemy. It just based on it's based on your damage, the personal power of that monster. Uh, so mirror is up for 2 turns. That's what it does. It gives everybody mirror for 2 turns, and it gives everybody a damage boost too, which scales. So essentially, he gives advanced mirror. So this is a really powerful mirror simply because everyone's getting a damage boost. So everyone's going to be sending back damage significantly better as if they were even if like they were just regular mirror because it gives a damage boost with that mirror, which is fantastic. I'm going to say this combos really well. This ultimate combos really well with double damage and precision. Really fantastic. Just straight up the bat, they're gonna take a lot of damage if they touch you. That's how that logic works. Uh, oh, I'm sorry. 1 second. Is that? Oh, it's not a stamina drain. I'm sorry. The spammable move I was talking about, it's not a stamina drain. It's actually a stamina recovery, and it gives 40% stamina back, which is a lot. So you don't ever have to recharge. The stamina also on it is rather low. It's only 27 stamina, which is fantastic. Uh, Obviously, the base damage isn't the damage output's gonna be too great because A, it's 45 damage, and B, he's not an attacker. So unless you build them damage, of course, and of course then the damage is different. uh, but yeah, that's just what he does. He has an AOE. I was gonna say he's got a single target. Yeah, he does still have the AOE. Yeah, I do believe. Does he not? Wait. Oh, he doesn't have an AOE possession. All right. I'm actually just looking over his moves again. I thought he had an AOE possession. No, that's not the case. He only has the AOE applied to random negative effects. He doesn't have an AOE. That's interesting. But he still has that single. He has a single target possession. So for the most part, he is single target reliant. For the most part, and his stun is not spammable. It's on a 1 turn cooldown. Uh, and like that great statement goes, all you need is one. All I need is one. uh, But yeah, overall, really fantastic magic monster. Can do quite a bit of trolley things. I do believe that cooldown for that 2 random effects is only on a 3-turn cooldown. Nice. Doing the perfect sign. Uh, Next, we're going to be talking about my favorite monster in terms of design. The concept too. I really love the concept with this monster. It was one of those videos. It's the monster where I did a guide on it and it was a perfectly fine guide, but then at the end I started to realize the absurd, shenanigans you could do. When I was just reflecting on, oh, you could do this with this monster. Looking at this, you could, and then I was like, oh, dude, I gotta do this video again and emphasize on it because it's fantastic. So here's the monster right here. He is called Ukuduma. Now Ukuduma, he has, in terms of stats, his stats are, I mean, like looking at all of these magic monsters, fantastic base stats. There's not a single one with poor base stats. Fantastic stats all around. This guy's a support, and he carries the gospel power. He's a support, and he carries the gospel power of 465, which is nuts. Now, of course, there's always, since he's a support, there's always like, oh, dude, there's gonna be a drawback or something like that. All of his damage he actually does is thunder based, so that's the drawback. Everything he does is thunder based. He can slightly increase the amount of obviously he can slightly increase his damage output slightly. He does hold a AoE that bumps he bumps up damage as a damage boost 50% and precision slightly. But obviously, I wouldn't think you'd be stuck in a situation where it's just him and a thunder monster at that point. I wouldn't feel like that would ever be the case. Of course, that's just my thought process. It could happen. I don't know your guys' game. Games anything can happen as far as I'm concerned, anything can happen in a game. Even a team war fight. Even if you take, a great time to analyze, okay, this is how it's going to go out. I'm planning this perfectly 100%. Something could totally not go how you planned and just goes nuts from there. Yeah, his main, but that's not, again, is not really focused on damage. That's not the most fantastic thing about him. You have the option to run it, though. I'm going to say that. You do have the option to run damage. You just need something to deal with that thunder monster. And that's not too hard. Unless, you're dealing with Voltic. You do need to, I'm going to say if you do have to deal with Voltic, you might want to bring something that can deal with them, just because of how painful, annoying Voltic is. You just gotta bring stuff for Voltic specific fights. But this guy is capable of doing quite a bit of shenanigans to any possessor and or magic monster in the game for several reasons. One, he carries 2, and yes, you heard me right, 2 AoEs that remove negative effects. One applies a 25% energy regen, gives everybody 25% energy back, and the other AoE gives, of course, I just mentioned it, damage boost and precision. Are these the most OP AoE buffs in the game? No. Are there better buffers in the game? Yes. Absolutely. There are ones that hold, double damage precision. It's not the most optimal buffer, but there's a buffer that does double damage buff. Also true. You don't I'm going to say this, though. You don't have to have the most OP broken buffs in the game, or, moves in the game, to be a fantastic monster. I'm going to say that every monster has their own, you could say, areas of best situation or areas of ideal situations, you could say. This guy loves magic fight. You want to know why he dressed up as a mage? Because he was a fan of Dungeons and Dragons. He's like, when I grow up, man, I'm gonna be a bee mage, and that's exactly what he did. He became a bee mage. He grew 2 pairs of arms for some reason. 2 more pairs of arms. I don't know if he was just born with 4 arms. You don't know. You could say you don't know if that's like a magic related thing or what have you. But he became a mage, and this guy again loves AoE. Just like precision possession fights. He loves them. He absolutely loves magic fights. He loves ruining, mages' days. That's why he's here. That's why he's at the summit of the Battle of the Mages. I do. It's just like he's like, yeah, I'm an anti-mage man. Because for the most part, he counters possessors really hard. He can essentially he can save He can save your attacker from hurting, your team. In the case of the event, you're just possessed at this point. So he works incredibly well. I'm saying this right off the bat. He works incredibly well with things with the mountain trait. Attackers with the mountain trait. So Agursus and Captain Copperbeard. Fantastic. Pair it up with them immediately. And you will see great results. In all perfect, you will see fantastic results with that combination. Other things he may do besides the two, that's the hugest part, are the AoEs that remove negative effects. The other stuff he does is he has a single target damage move that gives an AoE 30% life shield to all allies. Really majestic. Really awesome. In all honesty, I think that's nice. In all honesty, it's nice. Is it a big shield? Is it a really big shield? Again, no, it's not a big shield, no. Are there other better AoE shields? Yes. There are several monsters that can give 40%, shields, or just, 100 Octum. I don't even need to finish that sentence, to, like, oh, here it comes. He's going to say, yeah, there's 100% shield. Yes, absolutely, there's 100% shields. But it's still nonetheless a shield. You can provide constant protection just every other turn, and that's fine because that's when the shields will go down. It's like I think it's like a 2-turn shield? But yeah, I mean, like, the cooldown, obviously shields last for 2 turns, but he can do shielding, and that's fantastic. I do believe this is one of those monsters you can build a variety of team runes on it, or, you can do any team rune you want. Team power, yes, you can do that. Team life, yes, his base life is 2,900, that's fine. My top motto is only ever run team life on things that can take stuff. This one may take stuff. You may have the option to do so. Team speed, you can run team speed on this thing. That's totally fine. Support sponsors can run team speed. That's fine. They're your support. They don't focus on damaging. They're relying on they're hell bent on the idea of just helping people. That's just all they're there to do. Buff your allies or just cause slight annoyance to your enemies. He does hold a damage reduction move. That's 65 damage. You build that for damage. And then there is a single target remove negative effects. He does hold that too if you so wish to run it. But again, his main concept is to annoy the ever-living piss out of, like, anything that possesses and or just, like, things that rely on negative effects. Specifically magic monsters. Monsters love a whole bunch of, effects and all that jazz. There's Lurdian, three negative effects. Burning, poison, stamina leak. Mr. Scratch, Scar, White Pandolph with their double negative effect AoEs. I'm just listing magic monsters. Other monsters from that category include, not including, magic. I mean, like, negative effect reliant monsters. Master Skill, Krampus. There's monsters with 2 negative, 2 DOTs. But I'm pretty sure if you were to fight, I was gonna say if you do put them on defense, and there's a situation when they can bring an Earth monster. Oh, sorry, they're gonna bring Gregors and just single target your ass, just like completely melt you. Because type advantage, and the base damage on the man is incredibly strong, and the DOTs are incredibly strong. But yeah, I think that's for the most part. That's Ukuduma in a nutshell. Fantastic support. A lot of people think he's really underwhelming. I think it's just one of those monsters people have to use, and they'll see how great he is. It's just one of those. It's the same thing with Goran. You guys don't have to believe. You guys can think I'm just insane right now. That's totally fine. You'll see it at some point later. Really great monster. In all honesty, again, I'm going to keep saying this because it's true. All these mages are fantastic. Now we're going to get to the second one. The second monster in this, second to last legend in this event, and that is Tulkaju. Now, Tulkaju is pretty much, he's a support. He's also a support that also deals damage. So if you're a League of Legends fan, you love this monster. You like supports that do damage. Bam, support that does damage. Basically, he's not. I can't say he's as supportive as Ukuduma. He's not really. He can do it. But, he can do this too. He can do this plus this. He can do this plus this better. True, you can build Ukuduma damage, but this guy brings it up to another step. The thing is, Tulgaju here carries all fire-based moves. That's fine, because he also holds an AoE that makes everybody weak to fire. Yep, you heard that right. 80% fire weakness. He holds that, and he holds a 45 damage AoE that burns. So he is a monster that can do damage without having to build damage. And he supports other fire monsters. Another thing about him is he can remove negative effects. I can't remember if that was an AoE or not. But he does hold an AoE that gives everybody freeze immunity. So he's a huge counter to things that rely on, freezing. But, he has nothing on, things that do stamina drain, like CDs and frostbite. He has nothing against them. He can't do anything against those monsters in terms of being stamina drain, because obviously he can't protect them against stamina drain. I'm actually going to pull him up. I'm going to pull him up here to see his moveset, just to be 100% sure what else he has. I think those were the major things. He has a AoE fire weakness. He can do that. That's nice. What's his ultimate do? Oh, I didn't even mention the... ironically enough, I didn't even mention Ukuduma's ultimate. Ukuduma, I do believe, removes negative effects, gives a 50%... Was it a 50% shield? And double damage. I do believe that was the case. Yeah, it was. It was a shield and double damage. I do believe that was. And he removes all of the negative effects, too. Just a bunch of... It's just like a sweeper. He just cleans up everything. So, for Tulkaju's ultimate, he holds a 55 damage based fire AoE that applies burning, blind, and damage reduction. Fantastic supportive ultimate. And that can also do damage if you set it up. He can remove all the good effects from all enemies. That's also an option for him. He can do that. And I do believe he has a... Yep, he can also remove the debuffs. So he can remove good stuff from the enemies, and you can remove bad stuff from your allies. Again, supportive monster that can do damage too. Which is amazing. I find this monster universally great, in all honesty. In terms of what roles you could build this thing, I'd say this one, is really, really solid. Now, the last monster is, of course, the one monster that everybody wants, everybody thinks is the best thing in this event. That there's if you could, you could just get this monster. All the other monsters, all the other monsters are terrible. Just get this monster. This is that kind of monster, and her stats and moves boast that comment. She is incredibly strong. In terms of what she is capable of. She boasts a speed of 3,498, I do believe. Is it 98 or 99? 99? I'm pulling her up right now. She holds a AoE stun. She has the trait Hardened. She holds a bleed AoE that removes positive effects, so you cannot, I do believe you cannot, my stun, yeah, it removes all positive effects, and it bleeds, so you can't, have, regen up. It's like, oh, hey, this bleed's not gonna do anything to me, because I have regen up. Nope, she just takes it all away. She takes your toys away. This is a huge move to run, if you do get her. She's capable of AoE stunning, and as you know, all the magic monsters have the tendency to possess. Since she is posting that speed of 3,498, which is, I did not have now confirmed, she can easily deny stuff. I'm gonna say if she's running level 10, level 10 speed runes, level 9s, what have you, she's gonna outspeed a lot of things. A lot of things in the magic category. Odds are she has one of the higher speeds, if not for Gretchen. Which odds are Gretchen, I'm gonna say right now, Gretchen might actually be her only bane. I don't know if the mirror is gonna reflect that AoE, remove positive effects. I'm not too sure on that. I'd have to see that in the future or test that out. at the moment. But Gretchen is one of the fastest. I know straight off the bat, she is not faster than Gretchen. I think Gretchen holds a speed of 3,500 something. 37 was it? Uh, but she's a really fast monster. Gretchen again. Yeah, I'm going back to the assassin lady here. Uh, Really fast monster, really strong monster. Her base stats. These are her base stats. If you thought the moves were nuts, check this out. Her base power is 3,432. Her life is 31,366, and her speed is 3,409. Again, I've already said that again, but I like to emphasize that because she is fast. She is really fast. I'd say the hugest thing, though, like the hugest thing, even huger than the other things I said were huge, was the fact she has the skill Timebreaker, which does this. Deals very heavy magic damage, activates all cooldowns on enemy. So she activates the cooldown. She does a Timeron on a single target. We're getting a lot of monsters that can pull these kind of shenanigans. It just kind of totals like defenses. It just straight at the bat. You can destroy a denier instantly with this move. If you're faster than the enemy denier, all you have to do is do this and they're done. The deniers shouldn't even be there at this point because they can't do anything at this point. you've shut them down at the point of the game. They can't do any more denying at this point. Fantastic all around. The monster that everybody wants, but of course is the last one. Uh, it's just one of those things. Uh, and of course you can't get her unless you do buy a coin jar, $50 coin jar. That gives like how many coins? Like what, 9,000? Yep, 9,000. Of course you only ever get coins on sale. And when the coins do go on sale, this is like, $50. You would have to get a coin base at that point. So we have reached that final monster. We've described every monster in this event. Let me know what monster you're hoping to get in this event, or you're excited for getting. Yeah, again, overall, this map this whole maze is fantastic in terms of monsters, in terms of design. I think they hit home with this. This is fantastic. Uh, Again, not including Zomdolf. All the monsters are fantastic. Really nice, really great. Really, doing the all right sign, the perfect sign. All you could ask for. I think the only thing I don't like about this event is the time given. I feel like with that time given, you're kind of pressured in choosing. Well, not even choosing. I like it. Okay, so personally, I don't know yet. I don't know how far I'm gonna get in terms of again, days and all that jazz for time. I feel like I'm gonna get up to. I feel like I could like in terms of what time it is right now. Thinking of like Ukuduma, like getting up to Ukuduma, like those first few monsters, uh, and hoping that I get enough for Toolkaju. I don't know if I'm going to make enough for Toolkaju, but that's kind of why I'm skipping on Melier, just to see if I have it. It's not one of those situations where I'm lost by a few coins, a few 2,000 coins. I want to just have the best odds of getting them because again, I still have to. You still have to go through Cordium's path to get the rest of the key. You have to get the keys to unlock the pass. That's kind of another again reason why I didn't pick up on them. But again, overall, fantastic event. There's not a bad monster in this event. So of course, Zombandolf, I'd say is the only bad one, and is an old epic monster. Just saying. Fantastic event. All I have to say, I'm Dib the Awesome, and I'll catch you guys later.